check, sound check. Come on. Take this off. I think my sound. Okay. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let's hope the sound is sounding okay, because again, I'm in an area where the sound hasn't been great previously. Let's see if we make it sound right. Okay. I hope I'm sounding okay, because I've been having some problems with sound before. Let me just double check the sound here, please. Give me a second. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. So those people tuning in to this moment to hear about the latest developments of Wilder versus Stiverne, this is what's going on. Okay, there is some stuff I can talk about, and there's some stuff I cannot talk about. This is the stuff I can talk to you about. First and foremost, the talk about Wilder wanting to fight Ortiz, that probably is just for promotional reasons, and there probably is no intentions from the Wilder camp for this fight to happen. Right. So, Stiverne told us by the weekend we would get an answer as to what was going on, and I think, me included, there are people around the world that either want to hear Stiverne has stepped aside, or this fight is going to happen. Well, we also know that Stiverne has stated that for Wilder, for him to step aside, it would be an incredible amount of money for him to step aside. But he's not stupid. Stiverne has stated that he would step aside on the basis of Wilder paying, or Wilder's team paying out an extraordinary amount of money. So, if that step aside is to happen, then Mr. Wilder has to sign the contract, which would mean he would have yet another voluntary defense. Now, if you've been saying that Luis Ortiz is the guy you want to fight, then Luis Ortiz at the moment hasn't got a fight. So now, if you sign the contract and you allow Stiverne to take step aside money, then you are in a position where you really have to face Luis Ortiz. You either face Stiverne or you face Luis Ortiz. You can't fight Dillian Whyte because he's just finished fighting. You can't fight Joseph Parker because he's in a fight now against Siu Fury. You can't fight Anthony Joshua because he's lined up to fight Pulev. So you're left with Ortiz. You know, that's the fight that the world are asking for. Does Wilder really want that fight? I know the fans want that fight, but does he want that fight? So he's got a dilemma. Wilder, does he sign to take the rematch against Stiverne, which a lot of people don't want to see, and this fight should have happened a long time ago. But the question is, why has this fight been stalled? There's been definitely stalling, and see, I've been watching this go on for a while now. I've been watching movements back and forth, the lies, the Stiverne missing drug tests, and all absolute rubbish. I mean, absolute rubbish. So now we have a situation where either Wilder signs a contract, and the contract is for Stiverne to step aside, or he signs the contract, and the fight happens. So the last I heard was literally 15 minutes ago, and there will be a meeting. And after that meeting, we should know, because I was told that today was the final day in terms of making a decision. Now, bearing in mind that this weekend is also Mayweather versus McGregor. So the buffoonery that's going on between Stiverne and Wilder and the WBC president, he is obviously here in Las Vegas to deal with the Mayweather-McGregor fight. You'd have thought by now that this situation would have been dealt with, but there's a delay somewhere for some reason. It's simple. Does Wilder want to take this? Is Wilder's team going to give Stiverne the step aside money, or are they going to face one another? So, yeah. But regardless if Stiverne fights Wilder or not, he'll be back in action sooner than people expect. So regardless, he'll be back fighting shortly. So that's where things are with that situation. Call 29171 says, if there's any news, you never know if Wilder has regressed. I seriously believe Stiverne will cause him more problems in rematch. Wilder fight or give up the belt or back off. Wilder should look to take the Stiverne fight in his eyes. It's an easy fight for him to delve into it before making a money fight. Freedom 2018. Wilder's a pathetic champion. Let's put it this way. Well, something's gone on. Something's gone awry. Something's gone wrong in negotiations, because this deal should be done. And yet again, there's been stalling. There's been contracts not being signed. Again, more delaying tactics for whatever reason. So for me, it's simple. You either want to fight or you don't want to fight. And it could have all backfired, because if you've now been shooting your mouth off saying you want to fight Luis Ortiz, and it's Luis Ortiz fight that's going to happen, then it's quite easy. Pay the step aside money, pay Stiverne step aside money, fight Luis Ortiz. So Stiverne would be willing to step aside if you pay the extraordinary amount of money for him to step aside. The man just exercised his rights. You know, a lot of people in boxing who are not boxers and who don't have to look after their family in that sense will say, "Oh, Stiverne should just step aside." Okay, the man was. If you say the man should step aside, pay the man to step aside, and let's go on with it. What's the problem? And why has it taken so long? This fight should be done, dusted. I'm as annoyed as the next man. So it is where it is at the moment with this situation. Hopefully we'll have some development in a few hours' time. Derek says, what has Stiverne done to deserve mandatory? Someone please tell me. Listen, I'm not even getting into that conversation again. If Wilder has to pay Stiverne a lot of money to step aside, surely he would need a big fight and not someone like Dominic Brazil. Exactly. So he steps aside, but the big fight would be Luis Ortiz. In theory, he would have to face Luis Ortiz. That's what the situation would be. Because fans would not want him to fight another Dominic Brazil or a Dillian White, with all due respect. They want him to fight Luis Ortiz. Not the point. He's been made mandatory and deserves his chance to fight regardless. Loads of fighters get undeserved title shots. Indeed, that's why I haven't been able to answer that question. Yes, we all want to see Wilder tested against Ortiz, says Derek. But you know, people all talking about Ortiz. Ortiz is, you know, a fighter who's over 40 years old. His last fight was against who? Was against Dave Allen. We haven't seen Luis Ortiz since then. So, you know, I mean, Ortiz didn't look devastating against Dave Allen. So all this talk about Luis Ortiz, but he hasn't got that much of a following. People are repeaters. Let's be honest. Luis Ortiz can't really sell a ticket. If he was that much of a ticket seller, he'd command more power on a lot of things, but he doesn't. You know, how a man can be a WBA #1 contender, interim champion, and then not be fighting for the championship of the world. Yet someone like Shannon Briggs can fight. You have the opportunity to fight Frederick Bender for the world championship, the WBA championship. I don't know why that hasn't happened. I still do not know why Ortiz has not tried to exercise his right down the WBA route. When David Haye was trying to get himself into the world title picture, what he did, he went and fought, he skipped fighting the Klitschko brothers, and he went across and fought for the WBA regular title. So when he fought for the WBA regular title, he came back to the table as a world champion, even if it was a fringe world champion. He brought that to the table against Klitschko's. Why Ortiz's people have just left Ortiz out there, I don't know. Ortiz needs to get himself in the ring. He needs to be fine. Get himself a fight in the WBA and get himself a title shot. Okay, he's mandatory for Joshua. That's not going to happen. And so for me, they made a big boo-boo with that WBA interim. He was #1. How can you be #1 WBA interim champion and not get a title shot? Why is nobody talking about that? Why was that? He was #1. He was the interim WBA champion. Nobody talks about that. So, you know, I'm just sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, look, he should fight. But, you know, and if not disrespect, but if Malik Scott and Dave Allen are the blueprints or the statements that say, well, he should be mandatory for Wilder, he should fight Wilder, then I can't really say, you can't really say, well, Stiverne for Derek Rossi, and he was going to fight Povetkin, but he was going to fight Povetkin. Povetkin's better than anything that Ortiz has fought in his career so far. And Ortiz, no disrespect to Ortiz, but Stiverne has actually been a world champion. Ortiz has never been a world champion. So when you talk about mandatory, he was the WBC champion. So you can't really blame Stiverne for that. He's just exercising his right. And people ask the question, but they're not prepared to hear the answer. That's why I don't keep repeating the stuff about why Stiverne is mandatory. No, that's the point. Nobody wants to see him against these grade C fighters who want Ortiz. There's no justification that Ortiz is a grade A fighter. What grade A fighter has Luis Ortiz fought and beat to be considered a grade A fighter? I don't know. Okay, but anyway, didn't Wilder miss Povetkin around for months? He did. My original idea was to match Ortiz up with Brazil on the co-main event and put Wilder versus Stiverne on the main event with the promise of two winners face each other. That makes sense. That way television networks may be interested. Yeah, that's a great idea. Sick of that lion prick Hearn trying to force White's way into a title shot. Just a shit stirring. Well, we know what it is with Pinocchio, so we'll leave it there. Just more lies from Hearns and mismatch room saying White is on all these eliminators and fighting pretender continental titles. A selling point for blinking casuals into thinking he'll fight Wilder. We all know it's Stiverne or Ortiz. Stop lying, Hearn. What grade is Bermain? He's a former WBC champion. Okay. The people inside of boxing, you talk from Peter Fury to James Ali Bashir, people who are knowledgeable in the sport of boxing, who have a lot more respect for Bermain Stiverne than casuals. And that's what I've got to call it, casuals. So, you know, he knocked out Chris Arreola at a time where Chris Arreola was considered one of the best heavyweights in the world. So, you know, and Arreola at the time had only been beaten by the best heavyweights in the world. Let's be honest, his loss was against, I think he had a loss against Klitschko. So, and, you know, of all these people also talking about Stiverne, let me ask you a question, you Wilder fans. How many voluntary defenses has Deontay Wilder had? And then how many mandatory since he's been champion has he had? I mean, how many mandatories has Deontay Wilder faced? Come back to me when you can tell me that he's faced a mandatory, and we can continue this conversation. Oh, Derek says the only reason why they didn't fight Povetkin was because of the drugs bust. Forget what happened before. Ah, if I were right in remembering this, I I heard that Povetkin was going to get busted for drugs before Deontay Wilder even got on the plane. So it's okay for Povetkin to get busted for drugs against Deontay Wilder. The WBC did not clear that situation up. And if anybody who's been following my channel looks carefully, listen to my interview, I asked the WBC president at the time, what's the situation with Povetkin? Why is he still being allowed to fight? And why are you sanctioning Stiverne versus Povetkin? Stiverne, all due respect, and Ortiz should have fought, we wouldn't be having the situation we've got now. Okay? We wouldn't be having this situation. And for those people who turn around and talk about Luis Ortiz, the fact of the matter is, Stiverne signed the contract to fight Luis Ortiz, and Luis Ortiz pulled out of it. Those are the facts. Okay? And Stiverne has the contract to prove that. He signed the contract. Ortiz sent back to Ortiz. He wanted more money. He didn't want the fight. There we go. That's it. So is anyone seriously going to rate Stiverne beats Ortiz? This is the point. He has faced voluntarism, so he has to see him tested, and it seems many people feel Ortiz will test him. I think many people think Stivern's a bum. There are many people that think that Deontay Wilder should have voluntary defense after voluntary defense after voluntary defense. The fact of the matter is, he has a mandatory. What makes Deontay Wilder exceptional to rule of mandatory defenses? So it sounds a bit biased, if you ask me. Man has got a mandatory. He needs to honour that mandatory, whether it be Stiverne, whether it be Golovkin, whether it be Roy Jones Jr., whether it be Andre Ward. A mandatory is a mandatory. It's in the dictionary for a reason. Mandatory is not voluntary. Mandatory means you have to do it. Okay? It is mandatory that your brain, your heart beats and your brain keeps moving. It keeps ticking. That's mandatory. It's not optional. That's what mandatory is. You haven't got a choice. I think my heart should beat today. I think my mind should move today. It's mandatory. It has to happen. That is mandatory. That's in a dictionary. It's not saying, well, you can have an opinion on it. You can have an opinion on it, but it's mandatory. Okay? Break the rules, you go to jail. That's not voluntary. That's a mandatory. And that's what mandatory is. And I'm sick and tired of people constantly talking about why Stiverne is in the position he is. He's mandatory. Do the research. He was meant to fight Povetkin for the #1 spot. Povetkin failed the drugs test. Whose fault was that? Stiverne's or the WBC? It's the WBC's fault because they're slack. Povetkin shouldn't have been fighting. Ortiz and Stiverne should have been fighting. That's the facts. Had that happened, we wouldn't be in this shit situation we're in today. That's what it is. Okay, so all this stuff about, well, Stiverne didn't say, you know what, I'm going to WBC and put myself there. It is what it is. Callum Smith has been WBC #1 for how many years? He hasn't faced anyone in the top 10. Okay, so we can sit down here all day long. The fact that Stiverne's mandatory, he's mandatory. That's it. I don't hear why he's there, how he's there. You know the story, you know what it is. You don't want to accept it, that's your business. But that's what it is. So leave it as that. Let's see what people are saying here. So is anyone seriously going to say Stiverne beats Ortiz? Well, the man has to sign the contract first. So you can speak out of not knowing or not wanting to know, but when you've been given information and you're still talking out of ignorance, I can't help you on that. I'm giving you information. I'm telling you what the situation was. There was an original fight between Stiverne and Ortiz. Stiverne wanted to sign the contract. He signed the contract. He said it on a number of occasions. Ortiz didn't want the fight. Move on with it. You know, and if Ortiz was this killer fighter, why is he fighting Malik Scott and Dave Allen for a guy who's such a killer fighter? I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. But anyway, there are more people backing Luis Ortiz, and Luis Ortiz backs himself. But there you go. No, Wilder beat the shit out of Chris with one arm. Yes, he did when Ariel was shot, voluntary. No, he didn't. He got a shitty stoppage after one pace dismal performance, and that was a shot Ariola who's Wilder beat. Wilder fans think they're now exempt to taking mandatories just because Perfecto was on PDs. They didn't fight. For me, it's not a bum. I'm not saying that. I just want to know what grade you rate him. It's got nothing to do with the grade. I'd rate him as number one, as mandatory challenger for the WBC title. That's what I rate him. Former WBC champion. That's what I rate him. That's it. So what's going on? Just join. The fact of the matter is something's gone wrong in negotiations. I don't know what it is, but there's a meeting tonight. So we'll see what happens after that meeting. He isn't an exception. The point is that he faced Stiverne, already beat him very convincing. So let's see against Ortiz, who has been the bogeyman for years. Well, as Tyson Fury said when I interviewed him, who's Luis Ortiz beat? Dave Allen, Bryant Jennings, who had 2 weeks to prepare for a fight. Tony Thompson, no, he fought Tony Thompson. Who outstandingly has Ortiz beat on his record? Name me one opponent, and then we can talk about him being a killer fighter. Name me one guy he fought. He had a good performance as Bryant Jennings. What's he done since then? Labored with Malik Scott, who Wilder knocked out in a round, or labored with Dave Allen, who only had 10 pro fights and 10 amateur fights. Come on, talk to me, man. Talk to me. Wilder is the most hated heavyweight, and Stiverne is hated for an association with Wilder. It's evening, and hope all is well, and I hope you're well as in life. Just listening, good, great to hear you are. Wilder is nothing to the sport, he's a fraud. Wilder didn't deserve a shot at Stiverne in the first place, but no one says that. It's all on Stiverne. Who would turn it down in Stiverne's shoes? There you go. And by the way, it wasn't Stiverne's mandatory to face Wilder, it was his voluntary, just to clear that up as well. He fought those fighters because he was undermatched him, and he tried to build his name here, and it didn't go well because of his performance. There you go again, completely deluded and blind, absolutely blind, Derek. You speak without really logic. The reason why Matchroom had Ortiz was to ensure that he didn't fight Joshua, so they devalued him. He fought Malik Scott, he fought Dave Allen, and both fights he didn't look great in. Okay, Luis Ortiz's stock has dropped since he came to UK and was under the Matchroom banner. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because when Ortiz beat Bryant Jennings, it was like, yeah, that's it. Let's see him move on from that. What did he do? He fought 2 fights that nobody gave a damn about. Really? And when people after the Bryant Jennings fight were saying, yeah, let's get Luis Ortiz in with Anthony Joshua, that all kind of calmed went to one side, and Matchroom did a good thing to keep Ortiz busy. Now what's Ortiz doing? Did it make Ortiz a bigger ticket seller? Did it give Ortiz more TV time? Did it make Ortiz look spectacular in those fights? No. Can Ortiz fill an arena? No. But you're talking crap about, oh, he came to the UK and it built his profile. No, it didn't. How did it build his profile? By beating Malik Scott, who Wilder's KO'd in a round, who Chisora knocked out as well. Yeah, sure, that really does build your profile. And Derek and Dave Allen, all due respect, only had 10 fights and already fought Dillian White. Come on, man. Let's start talking logic. Ingram, talking of mandatories, are you picking Huey? I think we're going to see a different Huey Fury to the one that we've seen previously. So from boy to man, I said before. I don't know about this fight, man. I don't know about this fight. Let's see the fight happen first. Let's see the 2 guys get in the ring, and there's no injury or pullouts. Wilder be looking for his next cab driver. CR297, you chat rubbish until Wilder fights and Lee fight. You can't say he can't fight. He can't fight. You're obviously blind. Yeah, this is a fact, but his stock is far greater than Stiverne. Right. WBC champion, names in history as WBC champion. Ortiz has even fought for a world title, and fought one world title. Last time I saw, Stiverne fought on a Showtime. And in an amateur, as an amateur, Luis Ortiz was third in the amateur as a heavyweight. Okay, and I believe Stiverne was one of the top heavyweights out of Canada, if I'm correct. But I don't know what you're talking about. Ask Rosa Hartley will tell you her intention to get Ortiz away, put him in a sleeper fights, as he could sell the AJ fight as a non-sellable or non-casual friendly, of course. Not particularly. I don't really care about McGregor and Malignaggi. Sorry, can't sell that. Then when Joshua beats Molina, Eduardo strips him off and blames it on bad performance. The facts are that the public heard about this potential fight and the backlash was awful. 2 videos a day, Ingram, you're working hard. Well, it's usual. Are we talking about the same man who fought in 2015? Are we talking about the same man that fought Dave Allen? Never stopped questioning Hearn's bullshit. Ingram exposed me ages ago. Of course he did. But he admitted himself on the channel. Mr. I'm a bullshit admitted 30 seconds into Ingram's interview. That's what it is. Can't do long on interviews without just straight up and say, listen, you're a bullshit. Admit what you are. Second-hand car salesman, that's what you are. But you treat the casuals as idiots. And the casuals lap it up. And then when I have to listen to his garbage regurgitated to me, put them straight. I mean, your comments don't, comments don't make sense. Derek's comments don't make sense. Proper troll stuff. So anyway, that's the Stiverne Wilder situation. As you know, the phone is right here to make the call, but there's no point because stuff is going on. Derek, networks can't sell a fight with a man that fought 2 years ago. Really? Okay. Who told you that? Don't tell me. Did you ring the networks up and speak to them? Bet you didn't. I bet you read something on the internet from boxingscene.com maybe, you got the information, and that's how you got your information, and that's how you believe it is how it is. Well, that's absolute crap. More excuses. So hold on. Molina, Wilder, they sold out. Wilder, Duhapa sold out, right? Okay, and then he's going to fight a guy he's never knocked out before. Great. Your logic don't make sense. It's just, again, further garbage. When the same source said that while Stiverne had employed Jade Prince and Lubin for the to get the Wilder fight, that was garbage because we spoke to Stiverne a week earlier. So you got a choice. You can keep on listening to the garbage, or you can actually listen to somebody who actually does the work, makes the telephone calls, and gets the answers. So there you go. Yes, he's not Floyd. What? Wilder's record is 38-0, 37 KOs. Until someone beats him, there's always going to be a question mark, and your opinion means nothing. Ortiz will destroy Wilder. Stiverne will lose his mandatory if he steps aside. Just have a feeling. Ingram, do you think Stiverne might have milked this first huge step aside per day? No, I don't. I don't believe it at all. You just look at anybody who's actually, okay, the way I look at it is this. Anybody who's looked at Stiverne's Instagram or you looked at his videos and you've listened to the videos well before this crap about this whole mandatory thing situation, you go way back. Even when he was going to fight Povetkin, he wanted to fight Deontay Wilder. He wanted to fight. This guy is obsessed with fighting Deontay Wilder. So the only way I see Stiverne stepping aside is for a ridiculous amount of money. I don't believe he loses his mandatory position because it's not him that's causing the hold-up. That's as much as I can say as that. It's not Stiverne causing the hold-up. If a man's not prepared to pay the money for step aside, then he's not prepared to sign the contract. Say, you know what? This is the amount of money. This is the money you're asking for. This is what I pay for. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for you to step aside. So you're kind of rocking a hard place. You either pay the step aside money, and it's a lot of money to somebody you don't particularly like, or you don't pay the step aside money, you face him. Either way you look, you either face Ortiz or you fight Stiverne. And either fight you take is going to be a difficult fight. That's the way I see it. Nobody cares about Stiverne. He isn't relevant in the current heavyweight scene. You're honestly going to say a man who lost 2 years ago is relevant. Okay. Right, a man who fought 2 years ago. He's relevant enough to be in the WBC #1 contender spot. And for the last time, Derek, do your research. It wasn't 2 years ago because he was meant to fight Povetkin, but you're at a point now where you're so biased that if you're so biased, go back, do some research, go to BoxRec and find out when the fight was meant to be scheduled between Povetkin and Stiverne. So it wasn't 2 years. This Povetkin-Stiverne fight was not last year September. That fight was meant to happen, or November, December time, or January time, in fact, and they got cancelled. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Ingram, to be honest, has Stiverne earned a mandatory shot? Yeah, he has earned it because he's meant to fight Povetkin. Povetkin pulled out with the PEDs. It's not Stiverne's fault. It's the WBC's fault because he got caught with a Wilder fight. So why was he still in a? The question you all should be asking, and I can't get it. Why are you not asking? Did Povetkin earn the mandatory position based on the fact that he got caught with PEDs with Wilder? That's the question you should be asking. But you guys have got it the wrong way around. Why don't you ask the question, why is Povetkin in a position to fight as mandatory? Why is not Ortiz mandatory to fight Stiverne? Now, that would have been a better question. That makes sense. Povetkin should have never been in the WBC #1 position because Povetkin was the #1 contender, if you remember rightly. And the reason why Stiverne is #1 contender is because the two of the guys were going to fight. I'm just doing this for the simpletons again, and the casuals I call them. These are proper casuals. Stiverne is the #1 contender because Povetkin failed the drug test. Stiverne and Wilder was meant to fight, and Stiverne and Povetkin were meant to fight. Povetkin failed the drug test, and that's why Stiverne is #1 contender. That's it. It was like when Lennox Lewis fought Razor Ruddock, they fought, Lewis beat Ruddock, so Lewis had the right to fight for the WBC title. He was meant to fight Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe didn't want to fight Lennox Lewis, so he threw the WBC belt in the bin. Then the argument, well, who did Lennox Lewis beat to be world champion? Then he had to fight #1 contender, who was Tony Tucker. So there we go. That's what it is. That's the point. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's not rocket science. Okay. Stiverne has not fought anyone in the top 30. His career does not warrant a title shot. He's never fought anyone in the top 30. Right. Okay. So he fought Areola, and then he fought Areola again for the world title. He then fought Deontay Wilder. I wonder if Deontay Wilder's in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. Oh, yeah, he is. He's the current WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And then he fought Rossi in a comeback, and then he was going to fight Povetkin. What part of that don't you understand? You are definitely a casual. And at this point, Derek, I think my conversation with you ends. Thank you for listening. Good night. Ayo says, if Povetkin failed the drug test, he should have had to fight the next ranked fighter. Agreed. Stiverne is one of the toughest heavyweights, good punch power, good boxer. When he fights elite fighters, people will be very surprised. I know they will be. I'm not even paying any attention to Derek. Put the crack down, man, or I'll show you good punch power. Next down, okay. Derek, I think you're trolling, mate. So take a time out for 5 seconds and have a think about things, and we'll have a chat afterwards. All right. Okay. So I'm going to move off this Wilder Stiverne thing, and I'm going to move on to something else. Another big fight that's just been announced, actually, and I think it's a really good fight. Is, do you remember Spike O'Sullivan, the Irish middleweight? He's now going to be fighting, from what I understand, Gabe Rosado. I think this is a great fight. Spike O'Sullivan, Gabe Rosado, a really good fight there. Let me just get the details for it as well for you. I think this is a fantastic fight. And Gabe Rosado is no mug. Gabe Rosado is, in my opinion, beat Martin Murray, but he didn't get the decision. So I'm really happy for Spike O'Sullivan. You know, Gabe Rosado's fought the best. He's been in there with Gennady Golovkin, as you know. You know, he's been in with quite a few of the middleweights, top middleweights. So got a lot of respect for Gabe Rosado, and I think it's a good fight for Spike O'Sullivan. If Spike O'Sullivan wins that, it's a good win, because I said. So let me just give you the information here. He was due to fight a Florida fight called Marquis Davis. But now, so he's now going to be fighting so he's down at light middleweight, I heard. So they talk about him fighting Gabe Rosado. Let me check this out a second. But there is something. There we are. Let me find it for you. Oh, let me see. I'll try the article for you in a minute. Here we go. Sorry. Let me get the information for you. Yeah, so Spike O'Sullivan, here we go. He's going to headline the ESPN card against former world title challenger Gabe Rosado. I think it's a cracking fight. It's a massive fight. So Spike at the moment is 25 fights with 17 KOs. I think it's 2 losses and 1 draw, something like that. So recently, US promotional giants Golden Boy embarked on a new partnership with ESPN, committing to a 42 fight cards shown over the next 2 years. The first of these headlines by Donegal's Jason Quigley against Glenn Tapia, and now another Irish middleweight is set to headline big card. The ESPN cameras will head to Boston for a card Saturday, September 30th, live on Spanish language ESPN's Deportes channel. And reliable sources have informed Irish boxing that Spike O'Sullivan is in advanced negotiations to face world title challenger Gabe Rosado. So this is a great fight for him, for Spike O'Sullivan. Real good fight, a fight that I felt I would like to see Billy Joe Saunders have. So it's a great step-up fight for Spike O'Sullivan. And yeah. So no, Gabe won't be fighting in the UK. He's going to be taking that fight in the US over at Boston. So let's see what people are saying here. Let me see here. Gabe is tough and Spike doesn't have enough power to KO. I just worry about brain damage for Gabe in his long run. Evenly matched, that's all we ask for. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a very good fight. Rosado got robbed against Murray, I totally agree. And now his headline ESPN card with Murray is down on Callum Smith's undercard. Justice prevails. Yeah, good. Let's see what we've got here. I love Spike, a come forward warrior with a vicious punch. Does he have what it takes to keep Rosado at bay? I think it's a great fight. Heavyweight division was looking so healthy about a year ago. The top 10 promised a lot. Now, another heavyweight that that we've had an eye on and is in touch with the show is Niall Kennedy. Let's get Niall. Let me see what I can find about Niall here a second for you. Niall Kennedy's done a couple of interviews with us. Let's see if I can get the story about Niall Kennedy. Heavyweight Niall Kennedy, see if I can find it for you. No, that's not the one. See if I can find the article for you. Where are you now, Kennedy? Where are you now, Kennedy? Oh, God. I can't find him. Yeah. Anyway, Niall Kennedy is back and he'll be fighting a heavyweight. He'll be fighting at heavyweight. He'll be facing one of Lou DiBella's fighters for the IBO. I think the IBO, not the IBO belt, the IBO Intercontinental belt or something like that. So it's a good fight for Niall Kennedy, a step-up fight against a Lou DiBella fighter. So good luck to Niall Kennedy for that as well. Niall Kennedy versus Josh Sanford would be a great fight. Niall is the Irish heavyweight, isn't he? Yes, he is. Riggin, are you going to talk about Ingram? Are you going to talk Rigondeaux? I am going to talk about Rigondeaux. Here's this. Now, I think it's absolutely ridiculous if Rigondeaux has to jump up 3 weight divisions to face Lomachenko. Lomachenko should lose the weight, come down from lightweight, come down to super feather, and let Rigondeaux come up. That's what I think. Now, that's it. Niall Kennedy facing Alexis Santos, who's 17-1. Thank you very much for that, Mikey. Rigondeaux, Lomachenko, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think it's a great fight. But it's a great fight if the guys fight in a reasonable weight class. Now, I want people to remember something. Sugar Shane Mosley was a beast at lightweight. He moved up 2 weight divisions and he beat Oscar De La Hoya. We've seen fighters move up 2 weight divisions and be destructive and be very, very good. You've seen Mosley do it. You've seen the great Roberto Duran do it. You've even seen Roy Jones move up. Hold on. I'm getting a call here, I think. Hold on. Let's see who this is. Yeah, hold on. It's Mr. Hartley. Don't know why he's calling now, but if you can get. Hello. Hold on a second, people. I'll have to call him back. Never mind for that. Right. Anyway, with 9 pennies from Ireland, Aram is shifting. Who was I? Yeah. So I think if Rigondeaux and Lomachenko are going to fight, Lomachenko needs to move down in weight. Rigo has to move up in weight. And like I said, there's examples: Shane Mosley, Roberto Duran, Roy Jones Jr. And let me say something: Rigondeaux is as classy as they come. He's small, but he's got good footwork and he's got good punching power, and he is a class his own. Moving up to weight division, can he do it? The question you got to ask yourself is, what does Rigondeaux walk around at, and how much weight does he have to lose to fight at the weight he fights at? So that's a concern. So if he walks around, let's say he walks around at super feather, if he walks around as a super feather, or even walks around as a lightweight, then it might not be so bad. Did you drop your official prediction for Maymac? Can't see on your video catalog. My prediction. See, I think. So yeah, let me just finish up the McGregor, not McGregor, the Rigondeaux, Lomachenko. I think the guy should meet in the middle. I think if Lomachenko is the master that he says he is, meet in the middle. Come down, forget that lightweight business. Come down to super featherweight if you genuinely want the fight, and let Rigondeaux move up. So you meet super feather. That's nice. Sorry, May Mac. Ooh, prediction. Let me break this down first and foremost. First of all, I don't subscribe to the fact that McGregor is a 0-0 fighter. I did this before. He's not a 0-0 fight, despite what people say. Listen, I started off, before I boxed, I started off in martial arts. And I stopped in martial arts because I felt I was better with my hands than I was with my feet. And I went into boxing. And my hands were my key for me and my development. So a lot of McGregor's knockouts have come by him landing the big left hand or the big right hand. So for me, the big left hand in his case. For me, McGregor is no mug when it comes to throwing punches. However, if this was just McGregor fighting Joe Bloggs down the street, then I think McGregor, as a have his first pro fight, we'd have an idea, and we'd have a better idea if McGregor had his first fight, and then we could say, "Oh, now we know what he looks like as a pro." Then we can put him against Mayweather. McGregor is a complete unknown entity, absolutely unknown. I don't care about what the sparring with Paulie Malignaggi, because here I've said it before and put it again. Who the hell is Paulie Malignaggi? Most of Paulie Malignaggi fights, he was getting beaten up anyway. He was getting beaten up anyway. He got beat up by Cotto. He got beat up by Khan. He got beat up by Hatton. He was a terrible world champion. All right. The truth be said, right? The truth be said about Malignaggi. So that was in his prime, Paulie Malignaggi, and he only had was a jab. I'm not disrespecting Paulie Malignaggi. I'm just saying he just had a left jab, and that was it. That's the facts. He used to get beat up regularly by elite fighters. Okay. So then Paulie then retires, chubby cheeks, no longer has any interest in the game, gets beat by Sam Eggington, and then decides to be a bad man and goes over to Conor McGregor's gym. Whether he got the shit beaten out of him a lot, he had no business being there. So in that sense, I got no sympathy for Paulie Malignaggi whatsoever. He chat shit and he was going on, and he got a whooping. Now, there are a lot of people that would want McGregor to beat Floyd Mayweather, particularly in this political climate, especially in America. Now, McGregor is probably the hardest puncher since Mike Tyson, if we are speaking real dude. Okay, so he punches harder than Kovalev. So he punches harder than Golovkin. So he punches harder than Bibetev. He punches harder than Breedis. He punches harder than Gassiev. He punches harder than Michael Hook. He punches harder than most guys in the world. Mate, Derek, do yourself a favour. Do yourself a favour, mate. Take another timeout. I think I'm definitely gonna take another timeout, son. Go and take another 5-second timeout. Go and take a timeout and come back afterwards. So, prediction: Mayweather's 40. He definitely is not the fighter that he was. The thing is, for McGregor to engage, I believe McGregor is going to make a lot of mistakes coming forward. He can't just come forward in straight lines throwing punches, because Mayweather is going to slip, he's going to move, he's going to counter. That's for sure. Mayweather sitting in the pocket, 8-ounce gloves. Let me explain something to you guys. Mayweather can defend, Mayweather can attack. McGregor can just attack. He can't defend. If you watch him even in MMA fights, he walks in straight lines, and he uses his chin and his face to block punches. That's not a good start. And between his last MMA fight and his boxing bout, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as he gets hit in the chin, he's going to make all them dumb mistakes again. Now, another thing, that left hand, when he brings that left hand back, he may get away with it against slow-footed guys who can't box. Now, when he leaves that left hand open, which he does, to land the left hand, he leaves himself wide open. McGregor leaves himself wide open. And unfortunately for McGregor, he's fighting the guy who's got the best straight right hand right hand in the business. Now, if Nate Diaz, who's as flat-footed as hell and is nowhere in the class of Floyd Mayweather, is putting left and right hands on McGregor's chin, right? Mate, people keep talking about McGregor's left hand. What about Floyd's left and right hand? What is it? The point that Floyd's not going to land the left and right hand? I don't get it. I don't understand. Floyd has taken this fight and he's seen McGregor make a hell of a lot of mistakes. And McGregor, I don't know how he's going to do fighting at 154. I really don't. I really don't know how he's going to do. I don't know how he's going to fight over 12 rounds. I don't know if he can adjust after he starts getting hit with the right hand. I don't know if he can fight off the back foot. I mean, McGregor might get knocked down every single bloody round, to be honest. And his idea, Floyd wanted to take the 8-ounce gloves. You remember when Canelo said, "Oh, you know what? I'll fight Floyd anyway," and how that backfired? Floyd is an absolute master, an absolute master. And I just believe that Floyd's going to land that straight right hand all night long. And by the time McGregor tries to pull the trigger to throw that left hand, Floyd's getting slipping under it, to the side of it, and getting caught and catching McGregor with straight right hands all night long. And he's going to get, I think he's going to get counted like hell all night long. You know, it could get embarrassing because you basically got a guy in there who is literally a novice in boxing. You know, like Finn is saying, best case scenario, big payday for payoff and fight Ortiz instead. Stiverne tough with a chin, great chance of beating Ortiz. If Stiverne wants the casuals talking about him, then take out Ortiz. He doesn't feel he needs to be honest. McGregor throws it left and leaves it down with his thigh. But McGregor is going to come out aggressive, get tired later on, and grab for his life. McGregor might get knocked out in the first couple of rounds. I'm not joking. He might do. McGregor may get knocked out in the first couple of rounds. I just think that straight right hand is going to find a room and a space for Floyd's going to find a right hand. Once he starts flying that right hand, McGregor's going to have no answer to it because he can't fight with the back foot and he's got no defense. So McGregor's going to come forward with no defense. You don't beat Floyd like that. And for you to beat Floyd Mayweather, and I believe the key to beat Floyd Mayweather is a good left jab. You've got to have a jab. De La Hoya started the right way against Floyd, which you've got to use the double jab against Floyd. You've got to double up the jab, put Floyd in the back foot and put combinations together and just try to outpoint Floyd. And for the first 5 rounds, De La Hoya did that. But then as soon as De La Hoya stopped using the jab, then you start to see Floyd use the right hand and put combinations together. And that's the thing. I don't believe McGregor has the tools to beat Floyd. Or has he setting his shots up? One straight left hand. He's going to have to set it up behind a jab. And then he's going to have to come forward. And when he comes forward, you know, you're playing chess. One mistake and McGregor could find himself on the canvas. That's what I see. Oh, you know, I'm 175, £7, and you know, Floyd ain't put me down. Okay. All right, Connor. I predict Mayweather will toy with Connor and the crowd will be booing within 3 rounds as it's a total combat. I don't feel sorry for the fools who pay for the watches. It'll be a quicker version of Ward v Kovalev 2. Connor will need Gallagher's tactics in order to get through the first 2 rounds. What? Tuck up tight and left hook to the body, possibly. The feints will give Connor nightmares as well. Floyd will do 4 rounds just fainting. Do you really think Floyd's partying a week before the fight, or is it just bullshit? Floyd's the master. Listen, a lot of people say Floyd can't read, right? Okay, but Floyd is one of the most intelligent guys in boxing, and he plays so many mind games. It's unbelievable. And I'm still waiting to see more mind games come fight night. Floyd's going to mess McGregor up big time, I'm telling you. The fact that when McGregor went out on the stage, he didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say at Showtime, and he, you know, ad-libbed. These guys in McGregor's corner are not from boxing background, world-class boxing backgrounds. They can say what they want. Now, Floyd's a master. Floyd's an absolute master. So, do you think of Floyd? So I don't think Floyd's BSing at all. I expect to see Floyd using a counter. I expect to see Floyd just take McGregor to school. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. McGregor may see what he needs to do, but he might not be able to do anything about it. You know, it's one thing, you know, McGregor has fought a certain way in MMA and he's been successful with it. And he'll say to himself, well, I'm successful. I've done what I need to do to get here. So now I've got a method that works. I'm going to use the same method against Floyd. Well, you can only move one fight one way, and that's coming forward and being aggressive. How many guys in 49 fights have been successful coming forward and being aggressive? I'm not staying for that. I'll stay it for Golovkin. Okay. I wonder if expert tactician Oliver Harrison will be leading McGregor's corner. Yeah, probably if it's him, he'll basically say, mess him around. Floyd was saying he's past his prime and Conor has the edge. Total bullshit. He's brilliant at playing these mind games and tricking people into thinking he's remotely close. Okay, I will, but only because of the event, not the actual fight. LOL. Yeah, it's a great event. I'm more interested in Nathan Cleverly versus Badu Jack. That's the fight I want to see. If McGregor hits Floyd early, Floyd will knock him out. Yep. Yep. Now people are saying Floyd doesn't hit very hard, but McGregor's going to get hit with punches, and the amount of punches McGregor's going to get hit with, it's going to be stupid. Who's Murray fighting on the Smith undercard? No idea, and don't care, to be honest. After seeing that last fight against Gabe Rosado, I was really upset by that. So, Badu Jack will smash Cleverly. I think so too. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. This is how I predict Badu Jack Cleverly is going to go, because Cleverly boxes the same way in every single fight. This is what happened. Cleverly's going to come to the center of the ring, that stupid bandana, and he's going to stand in front of Badu Jack, and he's going to throw combinations. Badu Jack, he might even use the bowler punch and all this crap. Okay, Badu Jack's going to tuck up tight, use the jab, hurt Cleverly with the jab, tuck up, walk Cleverly back. Cleverly's going to follow stupid combinations. Badu Jack's just going to tuck up, buy his time, walk Cleverly to the ropes, start digging in body shots, bringing up a cut through the middle, and slowly and methodically just breaking Cleverly down, and eventually beating Cleverly up and stopping him. That's what's happening. Ingram, do you think this fight is good for boxing? Yeah, I do. I do think it's good for boxing, because people say, it's bad for boxing. It's giving boxing a new life, because it's really attracting new fans. It's got a great opportunity for more fans to join into boxing. And it's got an opportunity for boxing fans to join MMA. It's anything that allows a bigger audience is a win-win. Anything that's got a bigger audience is a win-win. So I think it's great for the sport and the advertisement of the sport. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a fantastic idea for the idea of advertisement and commercialism and awareness of the sport of boxing. And it also is great because it gives other fighters the ambition to want to put in the hard work to make money like Mayweather and McGregor. So if you're boisterous and you're loud, you're flamboyant, you put the hard work in, you win the fights, there's always a possibility you could be a part of that in the future. It's not impossible. You've seen Pacquiao, we're going to see McGregor, two big fights. So that side commercially it's great. Is it great that a guy has got 49 fights is fighting a guy that's got no fights on paper as a professional fighter, boxer? Is it great? No, it's not great. And it's even worse, the fact that these guys are fighting and a commission has allowed a guy who basically is a ranked novice in the boxing world to be allowed to fight with 8-ounce gloves. Absolutely ridiculous. Cleverly has declined with no defense now. He just comes forward, warrior, but bangs his guard with tit for tat. Jack is an underrated boxer who should pick him apart easy. Cleverly, I said about Badou Jack when he fought George Groves, he would drop George Groves and he would beat George Groves. Everyone laughed at me. Well, that happened. I don't only expect Badou Jack to drop Cleverly, I expect him to stop him. And, you know, I said to people who were watching Cleverly, DeGale versus Badou Jack, he needs to be careful going down the stretch that Badou Jack don't hurt him. Badou Jack is a good puncher, but what people miss with Badou Jack is his body work. His body punching is what is going to sap Cleverly. He's going to work Cleverly's body like nobody's worked Nathan Cleverly's body before, and I wouldn't be surprised if Badou Jack dropped Cleverly with body shots, because Cleverly's not used to taking body shots. And I can see while Cleverly's throwing all them stupid combinations, is Badou Jack slipping under the combinations and ripping one to the body. Don't be surprised if Badou Jack ends his fight by dropping Cleverly with a body shot. Look to see the body shots of Badou Jack, not only when they are in the center of the ring. If Cleverly's got any chance of winning his fight, he's got to keep his back off against the ropes. If Cleverly's back touches the ropes, Badou Jack's going to Badou Jack's tuck up tight, wait for him to throw his punches. When he throws his punches, slip a body shot in. As soon as the elbows come up and he starts to go like that, drop, tuck up, slip, left hook to the body. So drop, slip, tuck up, left hook to the body, right hook to the body. Just dig them up. And when Cleverly tucks up, bring the uppercut in. So you bring the hook to the body and upstairs with Cleverly. So when he's against the ropes, when you've got Cleverly, you tuck up, body shot, straight upstairs. Oh, I had Mike Tyson's fights, you see. It's a hook to the body and upstairs with Cleverly, and finish with a left hook. I look to see Badou Jack pushing him back, because Badou Jack will be physically the stronger man on the night, pushing Cleverly back, taking him into a tear-up, bringing him out the tear-up of him, pushing him back, and I think he's physically stronger than Fanfara, physically stronger, push Cleverly back, work his body, bring the uppercuts upside, short little shots inside, and stopping Cleverly. That's how I see it happening. So, yeah, and I didn't rate the Bramer performance either. One too many walls for Cleverly now. Agreed. Cleverly's slap combination isn't going to work against Badou Jack. The Fanfara ruined the fight. I believe so too. Well, it was. I believe Cleverly is ruined before the Fanfara fight. It was ruined in the Kovalev fight. And again, let me remind viewers that the Kovalev fight he should never have taken. That was a voluntary fight, a voluntary defense. Why did he not take on someone like Andre Ward or Carl Froch, who was around at the time, or take on Bernard Hopkins? Those are fights he could have taken. Why did you go and try and take on the baddest man in the light heavyweight division? For what? He wasn't a mandatory. Nobody knew about Kovalev at the time. So I don't know what was going through Cleverly's mind to go and take on Kovalev. Absolutely none. He believed in the hype. He believed in the, I've got a great chin. He hadn't thought nobody was a puncher. And then as soon as you get hit on it, the referee's taking you back to the corner and sitting you down on the stool. And then when I watched that fight again, I think to myself, that referee who took, it might have been Richie Davis, I think, or Harry O'Connor, one of them refs. Cleverly was hurt, so hurt in the first round. The referee picked him up and took him back to his stool and sat him down in the corner at the end of the round. Now, either that referee was working for the promoter, or two, that referee didn't like Nathan Cleverly, because he's meant to protect himself at all times. So I think, in my humble opinion, that I just don't see him coming back. I really don't, Cleverly. I don't. Let's see what people say. Cleverly's best fight was against a weight-drained Tony Bellew, I think. Or maybe the Morat fight. The Morat fight was a good fight. Yeah, he was I think Morat fight was a good fight. Yeah, Ingram, Toledo, and Kovalev would destroy Nathan Cleverly in a few rounds, and everyone laughed. Have you talked about Wilder? Yeah, I have done. Cleverly has never been elite. Got found out when he faced a real fight in Kovalev. Yep, Kovalev wrecked Cleverly. Since the fight, Cleverly was brilliant versus Fanfara. Brilliant for what? He lost the fight. What did he say about the update? He was entertaining, not brilliant. Yeah. No, what? No, he was terrible. He took a beat. Of course he did. Lavinda says, what has Fury done to get a shot at Parker? I still believe Stiverne is way more relevant. Possibly so. That fight with Fonfara set a new record for punches thrown in a cruiserweight fight. It was a light heavyweight fight, and no, yeah, that was a fight that ruined him. Yeah, yes, it was a cruiserweight or light heavyweight. Light heavyweight. Terry O'Connor, yeah, Terry O'Connor is a farce, of course. How you see a man getting beaten up and you take him back to the corner and sit him down to come out for the next round to get beat up again? Compare that to how he looked in his previous fights. I thought his output was much more like himself, yeah, because he was fighting a guy from Faro who can't punch. Not like how Badou Jack's going to crack him. Think about Badou Jack. He's always been a big super middleweight. Now him at a light heavyweight, I think he's going to be a beast at a light heavyweight. I'm excited because I heard a story at first that they're trying to get Badou Jack to fight Adonis Stevenson. That's the plan. That's the angle. And what they want to do, that's what I heard. The angle was for Badou Jack to take on, bring the championship of the world against Cleverly, beat Cleverly, and then angle for Adonis Stevenson fight. So that's what I'm looking to see. Adonis Stevenson versus Badou Jack. I think that's going to be a fantastic fight. Jack has got the tools to beat Stevenson, apart from the guy was winning the fight until he got knocked down. And Cleverly was robbed versus for far on that night. Everyone I knew scored it 9-3 to Cleverly. Bloody hell. Everybody that you know, Derek, was that you, yourself, and Sweet D? Oh dear. Right. So, Jack versus Cleverly is a brilliant fight, and damn, Cleverly has KO power to beat Jack at higher weight. Oh, mate, I'm telling you, Derek, you're a proper troll. Who do I have as my pound for pound number one in boxing? It's quite clear. Anybody comes to my channel. What LOL, what a clown who has made a fake account. Well, Ingram, are you trying to tell me Badou Jack at super middleweight punches harder than Fanfara at legit heavyweight? Wait until you fight. Wait until fight night. You're looking at Badou Jack. That's weight drained. Wait until you see Badou Jack at light heavyweight, and then come back and tell me afterwards what he does to Nathan Cleverly. Okay. What I'm telling you here, modern broadcast, is that Fanfara and Badou Jack fight very differently. Badou Jack is a better boxer, in my opinion, than Fonfara. 1. 2. Badou Jack takes less punches than Fonfara. 3. Badou Jack's a better body puncher than Fonfara. 4. Badou Jack's a more intelligent fighter than Fonfara. 5. Badou Jack is going to physically push Cleverly back to ropes, work his body, and bring the uppercuts upside. Right, the uppercut. So there you go. LOL, what a clown. Who has made a fake account? What a donut. How sad must you be? Joker. What is he talking about? Do you think I have time to be trolling, talking rubbish? Yeah, I do. I think you've got time. Get a life. Whoever done that. Done what? What the hell are you talking about? Jack beat Gross too, indeed. Just giving opinions and a little donut does that. I agree with all your points there. What are you talking about, Derek? You're in your own world, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what Derek's talking about. If anybody knows what Derek's talking about, I've got no idea, but yeah. You can see here, it's just me. Yeah. So yeah, I'm hanging out here to see if I can get some news. If Cleverly beats Jack, he's not beating Jack. Forget it. Don't even go and put your money on Badou Jack. Forget Cleverly beating Badou Jack. Cleverly's not beating Badou Jack. Sorry. When Stiverne was due to fight Povetkin, I presume he was ranked number 2 as a contender behind Povetkin. Indeed. What was the wildest Stiverne news? The fact that someone has made a fake account to post comments. Sorry, mate, you've lost me. I thought Groves beat Jack, but am I the only one who think he does? Yeah, you're the only one that thinks that. Badou Jack dropped Groves, and Groves tired in the fight, and Jack bossed the fight, in my opinion. Sorry. That's what I'm talking about. I've got no idea what you're talking about. Jackson will stop cleverly because his technique holds true for 12 rounds. Jigale stayed in the fight because he's a warrior. Any thoughts on Chisora versus Wilder? Forget that, man. Listen to me and hear me well. Get ready to see Joshua versus Pulev and Chisora versus White 2. That's what I'm looking forward to see. Joe Habib and ringside Robbie thinks Chisora beats him. For Chisora that fought Vitaly Klitschko, yes. For Chisora that fought Tyson Fury the first fight, yes. That Chisora, yes. Not this Chisora today, man. Come on, man. Chisora can't fight for 12 rounds. Did you not see what he did against a high work rate? Did you not see when he fought Dillian White? He was so tired after about 6 rounds. It was literally take a big gasp of breath. No, man, forget Chisora, man. It's finished. Done. Forget Chisora. Forget Chisora. You Groves or Eubank Ingram? Groves is, for me, battle-hardened, experienced, has been knocked out, has fought the best, has come unstuck. He hasn't got all that sort of like rah-rah about him. And you know, I've not been a big George Groves fan, but I think he stands a great chance in the Super 8. I really do. His punching power, his experience, he can box a bit, he's got a good jab. The only thing about George Groves, the weaknesses about George Groves, I think he's a bit chinny. I think he lacks stamina. Although the fight he had to win the World Championship was impressive, for a good rate there. He's a spiteful puncher. I don't know how well he takes punishment. He's not a guy that I think takes a lot of punishment. You know what I'm talking about, Ingram is lying. What are you talking about? If White fought Chisora, will that bring him closer to a title shot? No. Chisora literally never lands that overhand right either. Waste of time. That's his best punch, Mikey, the overhand right. He was whipping them in versus Vitali. Yeah, that Chisora beats Wilder. That Chisora, but that Chisora's not around anymore. Chisora is better up close with short hooks. The Chisora that possibly fought Kevin Johnson. I think ever since Chisora got knocked out by David Haye, he's not been the same fighter. That's what I think. But hey, neither here nor there. Derek, you're like a piece of shit. You that one flushed down the toilet. Whoa, fight. Okay. Well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to just chill out a second because I'm waiting to hear back from Stiverne. So we're going to sit here a second and spend some time with you guys. And I'm going to have some fun and just chill out with you guys tonight because it's 12 o'clock now. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Man, it's 4 o'clock Las Vegas time. See, we need to knock out 3 or 4 guys, 4 or 5 guys. Hey, next best thing since sliced bread. He's fighting AJ Carter, who we've had on the travel. No, I'm not going to look now. Let's know. He'll knock out. I think he'll knock AJ Carter out in the round as well. I don't see the point in that fight. You guys are idiots because Chisora has never been better after he beat Gideon White. Excuse me? Somebody have a word with Derek, please. Yeah, that's it. So I don't see the fight getting out the first round. And that's not really good for Carter's career. Let's see if we get some news here. Stiverne has just said, I will find out everything today. That's an hour ago. There's a tea that wants to congratulate her on becoming a doctor. Unfortunately not. She isn't. But I'll send her congratulations. Yeah, I think I'd been a better fight. Dubois versus Sokolowski would have been a better fight. Much better fight than fighting AJ Carter. Well, let me find out when Stiverne. I'm gonna know. I'm gonna find out now while we talk. Okay. Just talking to me now. So I've just said to him now, listen, hey, last night I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning, literally this morning, till 5 o'clock this morning, trying to get answers about this fight for you guys and girls. So I'm finding out now. Hold on. What shit's going on? All right. Okay. Guys, how many viewers Box Nation get this week with the Cotto fight on the same as Floyd? It's silly, isn't it? Gorman is going to the top, and I love how he doesn't give a shit about his physique. Yet it's all learning his craft. If I'm honest, Ingram, I didn't like you because of your Fury allegiance, but I've realised that you're an honest dude who knows his stuff. Well, you know, to be fair, and let's be honest, Ayo, to be honest, Ayo, okay, send volume down a bit. To be honest, I understand the people have got, you know, I don't, I mean, I'll truth be said, yeah, truth be said, Ayo, and I'll just come clean about this. Now, I had an allegiance of allegiance. I did interviews with the Furies way back in 2012 or early 2013 with Peter Fury, when nobody knew who really Peter Fury was, apart from those hardcore boxing fans. We just took over. And since then, I got the interviews, built a relationship with Team Fury, and that's what it is. It's only because I've asked the questions and got the interviews. I don't think I should be judged because I get the exclusive interviews. At the time I was getting them, because there's an allegiance. I just think that I'm chasing a story and I'm trying to get on top of a story, and I see value in talking to certain people. Like, for example, when I was chasing up Bud Crawford, when I interviewed Terence Crawford, I interviewed him twice. Nobody in the world has interviewed Bud Crawford for as long as I have. Or when I was talking to Keith Thurman, before Keith Thurman became world champion, I was doing those back-to-back interviews with him. Can't be hating somebody because they've got an allegiance to somebody or getting interviews. It's not about allegiances, it's about getting interviews. It is what it is. I mean, I've interviewed the Furies and I've been where I felt that I didn't agree with something. You've heard me say it on camera. When I didn't agree with Tyson Fury about things, I told him I didn't agree with him in certain things. And I honestly said I didn't agree with him. And I did that on camera. So I think people respect you more if you speak your opinion and be honest about your opinion. It's the disrespect is when you're interviewing people and you're not actually speaking your truth. You're just saying what the boxer wants you to say here, or you're just saying what, the public would like you to say, rather than who you truly are and what you truly think and believe. So this isn't about being friendly with everybody. It's about trying to find out the truth. It's about, well, if I'm a fan, what would I want to know about that boxer? We're in a world where everything's sort of censored, so we don't really get to know the story behind a fighter unless you're on All Access or the Sky Team, or Showtime decide to really take time to get to know who that fighter is. So my job, in my opinion, it's not about me, it's about that person I'm interviewing. So it's very important that I bring you a story about an individual, a trainer, a fighter, a group of people, and they tell their story. It's very important. So I always not take offense, but I don't think people give credit to getting the information. People are more likely to give credit to fake news or false news than give credit to somebody who's actually going to stay all night up trying to make a telephone call to make something happen. Yeah. On IFLP, on what Fury has just told Tyson to get over the hay five. Remember, Tyson sent that Instagram message shot that Peter was part of Hey Jim. Is Team Fury just starting to fall apart? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I recognise your hard work. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but I don't see Fury beating Parker. Okay. If you don't see it and it happens, then you just give credit. That's all I want to hear. I recognise your hard work. Thank you very much, sir. People don't recognize, people don't want to recognize, people don't want to recognize truth. That's the thing. People hope and pray that it's not truth, so. Are you going to buy the pay-per-view this Saturday? I don't know. How much is the pay-per-view? Stiverne has talent, but I still feel he needs to fight elimination, just to be fair. He was going to fight elimination, but Povetkin got drug tested and failed. That's it. So that comment makes no sense. Ingram is seriously one of the best boxing guys on YouTube and anywhere. Straight talking, does his homework, gets his facts, and delivers to the fans. Thank you, Mikey. Bad guy says, calm down. I'm being serious. Yeah, but I'm gonna. I reckon I'd hard. What if Tyson and Peter had an argument and Tyson went to train with someone else like Ingle or Billy Joe, etc., and it's all been kept quiet? But we know that it's nothing new. People are talking like this is. All these things sound like a bomb going off. All these bombs going off. Or guns being shot. That's not healthy. Anyway, it's no secret that Peter Fury would rather Tyson be like Cousin Huey. Now, there's no secret, and it's no secret either that Peter Fury would not want to see Tyson in the state that he's in. That's a fact, but I think at the end of the day, it is what it is. You've heard on countless occasions, if you go back and listen to interviews I've done with Peter Fury, before, when it's all kicked off and that interview went viral and went all around the world, and you know, the Peter Fury interviews, I knew then that, you know, all wasn't well between Peter and Tyson. He's said many times, when Tyson's at the gym, I don't know where he is and I don't know what he's up to. He's a family man, he does his own thing. So Peter's invested all his time in Huey. That's what it's at. Peter Fury's biggest joke in boxing. Y'all hype him up as a straight talker, and his best win is Hugh Fury versus our guy Cassie. So what about the Klitschko fight? He led two of his team to world title top 10 rankings, and neither fighter has been beaten. I think that's pretty good, to be quite honest. And if he picks up the Parker win as well, then double world champion. One was, you know, unified heavyweight champion of the world. Another is a heavyweight champion of the world. Both fought the champion to become champion. I think that's quite a good performance. Does Stiverne generally beat Wilder in rematch? And if he does, want one last payday? I don't think it's about payday. He doesn't beat Wilder. I feel Stiverne does have all the weapons to beat Wilder. You've heard Peter Fury say it. You've heard James Elliott Bashir say it. You've heard Abel Sanchez say it. They all believe that Stiverne's got what it takes to beat Deontay Wilder. Right? There are other people that think that he doesn't stand a chance, but there you go. Who knows? Let's see Stiverne in the ring and see if he can back up his words. Oh, hello, what's going on here? What's going on here? The phone is buzzing, and oh dear, what's going on here? Hold on a second, people. I think it's done tonight. Hello? 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 Dear.
Do you know what that is? What the heck is that?
I don't know, it's just like, I don't know.
And it's by us.
I might have to stop the show. I don't know, it could be fireworks, but fireworks going off. Fireworks are 12:30 at night. Bear with me a second. I'm not sure if they're fireworks going off or gunshots. Give me a second. Just stick with me.
You don't see the fireworks in the air. Don't go out there like that. You don't see them. Usually when you hear the fireworks, you can see them. We didn't see them. Jeez. Yes, I did not see, but they've been moving a lot, and I looked up, there's no fireworks in the air, we just see light. It's like orange light, but we don't see the fireworks. And back there where we are, it's like lighting up, it was real close to the gate. No, that's not walking. Nobody else is counting in the first place.
Okay, I don't know if it's fireworks. Like we can't confirm if it's fireworks or gunshots, but there's a lot of gunshots. There's no fireworks in the air, but there are gunshots. It sounds like gunshots to me, and quite a few of them. So it's not good. Oh dear. Glad to see someone is still avenging fun impersonation of me, loser. Yeah, bloody hell, my heart's beating here. It's all right. Don't worry, we're back. It's cool. Whew, so much for that. But it was going on for a while. But yeah, we're back. We're okay. Sorry about that, chap. What on earth's going on? This is like one of them horror movies where they find the tapes. Haha. I can hear them from outside my window too, I swear. That is one noisy door. Are you joking? FHAOS. Where are you based? I was getting worried there, Ingram. That's all right. Thought you was having a fight there. Holy crap, stay safe, dude. Best first person cam movie since Blair Witch. You guys make me laugh. It's all right, man, honestly. Seriously. So, there we go. Really? It's thunder. That's not thunder. In Redbridge, though. Yep, in Redbridge indeed. Ilford. The sound is coming from Ilford, which is a concern, a real concern. So, yeah, not good. So if you're hearing the sound, Files, and I'm hearing the sound, then I'm not actually joking. I know, I'm serious. I'm hearing the same sound as well. So we're not far from one another, my friend. So yeah, it's stopped now, but it was going on for a good 15, 20 minutes. At like 12 o'clock, fireworks are going off, but hey, who knows? Okay, so it's Derek on the rampage. I don't know, somebody's celebrating something. Maybe they're celebrating Stiverne. Maybe it's to celebrate Stiverne Wilder fight. I don't know. Right, let's get back to where we are. I don't know what we'll talk about. There's a lot of people in the room, so I don't know what we're going to talk about. LOL, no, it's no rampage. It's donut chatting rubbish. Okay, Derek, can you explain to us? Ivan Lewis says Stiverne has the power. Let me just. Anyone who believes hard work, dedication, and consistency means you've got an allegiance to a fighter is small-minded. So some small imbecile has no life. So how are they impersonating you, my friend? That's what I don't understand. How are they impersonating you? I don't understand how somebody's impersonating you. When Stiverne will fight Wilder, has the fight been made? There seems to be a halt and a delay in the fight so far. Yeah, there's a delay in negotiations. It's been reported on YouTube. It loses like Ingram impersonating me. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm impersonating you. What are you talking about, me? Where am I supposed to impersonate you, Muppet? Where am I impersonating you? What? Look, I don't even know what you're talking about, mate. Nurse Carol, not really. You think Wild's got a chance versus Wilder? Yeah, I think so. Mate, I have no ill will towards you. So then what the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying I'm impersonating you. You're saying, mate, I don't know who the hell you are. Just a fool who's hacked an account. Derek is Illuminati. Derek, what's your name on? I don't know your Breeders or Perez in your opinion. Breeders, I tell you something. There's a guy I saw, a Russian heavy, like cruiserweight, and the guy looks bad. I mean, he's laying guys out flat. Is it true that the more belts you have, the more you get paid as a boxer, or is it based on attendance? I don't know. It could be. It could be a series of things. Okay. Top 5 heavyweights, go. You're not gonna like this, but Deontay Wilder goes number 1 for me. Yes, I know Joshua beat Klitschko, and that is good, great. But I go with Wilder only because my mind is he has been WBC champion for quite a while. He's made various defenses, and he actually beat the man who was the man. He beat the champion. Joshua didn't beat the champion because Vladimir Klitschko had already been beaten by Tyson Fury, and Joshua inherited the belts in a sense. Okay. LOL. Ingram is impersonating me because I disagreed with him on Stiverne not beating anyone worthy in his career. How did I get the time to impersonate you, mate, when I've been talking to you all this time? I don't know who the hell you are. First time I've ever seen you on my channel, somehow I've impersonated you. Get a life, mate. Pissed myself laughing. Wilder at number 1. What are you smoking, bro? He won't even fight Povetkin. Well, okay. Well, then Joshua won't fight Ortiz. And sometimes it's not about not fighting somebody because you don't want to fight them. Sometimes it's about making money and making financial sense. And lose Ortiz makes no financial sense for either Joshua or Wilder because he doesn't bring any money to the table. What money does Lose Ortiz bring to the table? So I've no idea what you're talking about. I just got no idea. So I said that Joshua, Wilder, based on the man that beat the man that beat the man basis, is number 1 because Wilder beat the man that was Stiverne, who's the WBC champion. Joshua beat Klitschko, who'd already been beaten by Tyson Fury 2 years previous. So I can't put him number 1. I can't put Joshua number 1 based on that logic. Joshua beat Klitschko, but Tyson Fury did 2 years earlier. So I can't put that. And since that time, Wilder's fought, he's had 3 or 4 defenses or 5 defenses. So he's been a busy, active world champion. So I would say that I go with Wilder being number 1 based on the fact that he has the green belt, based on the fact that he beat the man who was the man. He beat the champion. That's where I put him as number 1. Joshua's only number 1 because he's got the backing and he's an English fighter. You can't. How can a man be number 1 when he didn't even beat the number 1 fight at the time? He didn't beat the champion. Klitschko wasn't the champion. Klitschko had already been beaten by Tyson Fury. Had Joshua beaten Tyson Fury, then he'd be number 1. But how can he be number 1? How can Joshua just beat the man? How can Joshua just beat the man? Joshua didn't beat the man. Klitschko got beat by Tyson Fury. How did Joshua even get the IBF belt? Because Tyson Fury was strict because he was going to fight mandatory against Klitschko. So how the hell he gets an IBF against what's the guy's name again? Oh, what's the guy, the left-hander? I work this off like a god. So how the hell does that work out? That's how I work it out. I'm not based on muscles, not based on promoter talking shit, based on logic. Martin. Stiverne's never beaten no one in the top 50. So how did he beat Ariola twice? He was in the top 10 twice. How did Ari get into #1 position? Don't get it. And for your record, Vitaly Klitschko avoided the Stiverne fight on 3 occasions. Then Stiverne got his opportunity to fight Ariola. Then he fought Ariola again. Then he fought Deontay Wilder. How did Deontay Wilder become champion if he didn't fight anyone in the top 10? Stiverne fought the #1 contender for the title in a voluntary defense. Why are you chatting so much shit? So what you forget is the politics. Joshua just beat a very game Vladimir Klitschko. You need to give the man some credit. What? What? I'm giving him credit on beating a guy who got beat up 2 years ago. Don't get it. When Fury beat Klitschko 2 years ago, yeah, he was considered an old man. So suddenly, Klitschko suddenly 2 years old, 2 years later, becomes a better fighter, and he becomes a younger fighter, even though Fury already beat him. That don't make no sense to me. How can you be the man if you didn't beat the man? To be the man, you got to beat the man. Ingrid Tufay, you said Vlad would beat AJ. And he was on the way to doing it until Vitaly Klitschko turned and said to Vladimir Klitschko, take your time, don't finish him off. Wait until the later rounds. And then Vitaly admitted it afterwards. Your hatred of Eddie Hearn clouds your judgment of fighters. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? About not giving Joshua credit? I'm not kissing his ass. Joshua didn't beat the man. The #1 fighter universally recognized in the world was Tyson Fury because he beat Klitschko, who had been the guy who'd been champion for 10 years. Fact. Who did Joshua beat to be the man? Klitschko. But Klitschko got beaten 2 years earlier by Tyson Fury. So if you're going to acknowledge that Tyson Fury was the man who beat the universally recognized #1 fighter in the world, which was Klitschko, at the time 2 years ago, or you just making up the rules as you go along and say, well, Joshua is the best fighter in the world based on the fact he beat a guy that was already beaten 2 years ago by Tyson Fury. That don't mean no logic to me. Who did Stiverne beat to beat the man? Stiverne was meant to fight Klitschko. Klitschko avoided the fight 3 times in a row. So Ariola was put as #1 contender. So Stiverne had to fight Ariola for the right to fight for the WBC title. So then Stiverne became #1 contender, beating Ariola on points. And then they tried to still install Ariola as #1 as champion. So what they did, they got Ariola and Stiverne to fight again. He got the second fight, and that's how Stiverne became champion. And when he became champion, he made a voluntary defense against the #1 guy, which was Deontay Wilder. So Deontay Wilder was in the top 10. Okay, so that's how it worked. When Fury retired, then Vlad was skill-wise the best guy in the division. No. Yeah, Vlad was the best skill guy in the division. I agree. No problems with that. But he still was a beaten guy. He still got beaten by Tyson Fury. Whether he was the best skilled guy around at the time because the division was damn poor. Truth be said, the division was poor. You know, and if you look at the heavyweight division in general, how many of those guys have been tested in the heavyweight division? You guys, Fury can't punch. Name one real top rank heavy opponent who, without heading towards fixed rankings, that Wilder has beaten. Good point. None of the guys Wilder beat in the top 10 were in the top 10 when he fought them. If they weren't in the top 10, they were shifted from the top 30 and pushed into the top 10. Well, hey, at least Stiverne fought his #1 mandatory, but he wasn't his #1 mandatory. Stiverne fought a voluntary against Wilder. That's what he did. So, okay, question. If you rate Stiverne in the top 10 back then, does that mean he beats Klitschko, Hay, Povetkin, Pulev, Takam, etc.? They're going to answer the question. Yeah, but the man who beat Vlad is not active anymore, so there's no one else with a better win than Joshua right now. It's the best win in a poor division. That's how you view it. He didn't get bashed up by Tyson that fight. Hardly took anything away from Vladimir Klitschko. Joshua's win over Vlad is much better than any voluntary defenses Wilder had, in my opinion, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. But I'm saying based on principle. When Joshua beat Klitschko, was Klitschko a champion? No. He was a challenger. And that was that. When Wilder fought Stiverne was the champion. He beat Arreola to become the champion. He made his first defense in voluntary against Wilder. When Joshua fought Klitschko, Klitschko was a challenger. When Tyson fought Klitschko, he was a champion. Klitschko was the man who beat the man, he was the man in the division. Tyson beat him with a 10-year run of being a champion. Charlie Knight was not a 10-year run guy with a 10-year championship winning history. Okay. So that's where I'm basing it based on legacy, tracking it back. The man that beat the man. That's why I'm looking at it as Stiverne was the WBC champion, Wilder beat Stiverne. I'm basing it on that. Okay, that's why I'm basing it. Somebody asked my opinion, and then they want to argue my opinion about it. That's why I see Wilder #1 based on how I can track the history, not by promoters shouting and screaming, but by the fact that Wilder beat Stiverne, who was a champion. Joshua inherited the belts when Tyson dropped the belts. And that's how I look at it. So it doesn't matter if he was the champion. Klitschko is better than any bums Wilder has fought. But Klitschko had been beaten by Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. That's not active. He's the best heavyweight in the world, based on the fact he beat Klitschko. So hard to say. I haven't seen Wilder tested besides Stiverne. Okay, do you believe Vitali Vlad told Vlad not to cover knockout, or do you think it's a cover-up and excuse to protect his brother from a fatal fight? No, you look, Vladimir had him out on his feet. He didn't finish him off. When have you seen Vladimir's previous fights when he's had a guy out on his feet, he hasn't finished him off? Name your fight. No, it was Banks, awful trainer, been saying it for years. Even Tony Billy admitted that his names on the resume are better than Wilder's, and Wilder didn't disagree with him. Yeah, he fought David Haye. Well, hold on. He beat David Haye, but let's look at David Haye's resume. Who did David Haye beat as world champion? He beat Valiev, okay. He beat Audley, okay, and he beat John Reyes, okay. John Reyes beat faded Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield also beat John Reyes as well. John Holyfield was like 40 something when he fought John Reyes. So whatever. Which win is better, AJ versus Vlad or Stiverne versus Arreola? You're talking different time zones. Vlad had already been beaten by Tyson, hadn't fought for 2 years, 16 months. Stiverne versus Arreola. Arreola was active. He had already fought Seth Mitchell, who was the next best thing in boxing, got sparked in a round. by Arreola. Arreola came off that win. And if you remember going back, Arreola was touted as being one of the best heavyweights in the world until he fought Vitaly Klitschko. So I just answered the question. Vlad got beat by Vlad was beaten by Joshua, and he hadn't fought for 16 months. I don't care what anybody tells us. That's 2 years out of the ring, and he already got beaten by Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury had messed him up mentally anyway. So I just answered the question. LOL, AJ never gives credit to AJ. Okay, no, it's not. I'm not giving AJ credit. I'm not kissing ass. I'm telling you how I view the situation. Because I don't agree with you, it doesn't mean I don't like AJ. I'm saying to you, I've explained to you logically, and I'm not explaining myself again. You either want to accept my logic or you don't want to accept my logic. Either way, it's my logic, and the way I'm looking at it. You ask my opinion, I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not going to sit and argue it. That's how I see it. I'm basing it based on what I see, and I can track a history of legacy. Okay, legacy. How did Joshua become champion? How did Stiverne become champion? You're asking me. Stiverne became champion because he fought of the Eliminator to become world heavyweight champion. He fought the Eliminator, became #1 contender, and then Arreola came along in the second fight and challenged him for the world heavyweight championship, which Vitaly vacated. Stiverne tried to fight Vitaly 3 times. 3 times negotiation failed. Stiverne fought Arreola, became champion. Wilder beat Stiverne, became champion. Joshua fought for the title of Charles Mine, who fought for a vacant title because Tyson Fury vacated. Okay, then Joshua beat Martin. Okay, so the real man is Tyson Fury. Then he fights Klitschko, who had already been beaten by Fury 16 months earlier. So if Klitschko had no in-between fight, came straight away and fought Joshua. And Joshua had to get off the deck to beat Klitschko, by the way. A guy who hadn't fought for 16 months. I went life and death. So I'm just trying to give you, I'm just trying to break things down. Right, at this point, I'm going to go to bed because I'm sick and tired of people just, yeah, Ingram, before you said, right, you did say that Vlad looked fresher after timeout. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But I can't control how Vlad fought that night. Vlad dropped Joshua, did he not? He did. I don't know what the point of all this is. You're trying to catch me out, and I'm not here to be caught out. Well, you said this and you said that. If that was the case, why don't you pull up Teddy Atlas when he gets it wrong, or pull up Jim Watt when he gets it wrong, or Adam Smith when he gets it wrong, or this person or that person, because you can get to me. That's all it is. So I'm going to end this show now because, as far as I'm concerned, people are turning it into, well, you said this and you said that, and you could have said this, you could have said that. You asked me a question, I answered your question, and you're still trying to turn it into, well, is it this or is it that? It could be this or that. Open is objective, but I'm just saying to you, in my opinion, this is how I view it, and that's that. So thank you all very much. Have a good evening. It's not because it's not because I'm not giving a man credit. I appreciate Joshua's a champion, but I'm talking legacy. I'm watching boxing history, not just what a promoter says. Okay, this is the history. So, by the way, Derek, this will be the last time you'll be on my channel. I just don't like you. So you can come off my channel, and you will no longer be on my channel ever again. Bye. Can't handle the heat. Okay, maybe I can't handle heat, or maybe I just don't like repeating myself. Good night. So there you go. There you go. Who else? Didn't answer shit. Yeah. Okay. Another one out. See, I don't have to put up with this. And then you know what? I don't business. I just block you because I don't know you. I don't care much for you the other day. That's it. Just block you so I don't have to do you. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? You talk logic with people and then they just do what they're going to do. So, what I do is block your asses. That's all. Simple. Let's go play some football, man, because logic and answering people's questions is fine. But some people just want to ruin the mood and just You ask me a question, I answer your question, and then you say, oh, well, I don't agree with you. Okay, you don't agree with me. Fine. That's it. So you don't agree with me. That's it. I don't agree with you. So that's it. Okay, have a very good night. And we appreciate the news, ignore the haters. I don't pay no mind. I don't pay no mind whatsoever. If there's news later, I'll wait in an hour or so for the news to see. We're going to stick around. Bang. There we go. I don't know who you are. You should block everyone that disagrees with you. No, I shouldn't block everyone in the room, but I don't mind logical conversations. What I do have a problem is when people A gets like getting personal, or B people start manipulating what I'm saying. Decent conversation. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm here to have a bit of fun, enjoy it, and have lively debate. Debate is one thing, but manipulating and scheming and manipulating what I'm saying, trying to catch me out, I haven't got time for all that. So, and it's what, 1 o'clock in the morning, really? So I don't mind it, but I don't take abuse. I'm sorry, it's not my channel. So I block anyone I feel like blocking on my channel. Simple. I'm not here to be abused, and I'm not here to ask anyone's permission about my views. I'm not here to prove a point, or I'm not asking for permission. I didn't ask permission for somebody to start the channel. I didn't ask for somebody's permission to share my views, but I will not put up with people abusing me on my channel. I will not put up with rudeness. Simple as that. Simple. That's it. Simple. And that's that. If you want to do it, open your own channel up and take the abuse. But like I said, you know, it's so just look, man. I mean, literally, most of these people, you look at them, most of these people, I never tried catching one out. Just believe AJ's number one in the world, and I'll give my point of view. Okay, that's your opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna go play some football, chill out, and have a nice evening. And when Stiverne, whatever point that Stiverne decides to respond, I'll be around for a few more hours to chill. So I don't know who it was that did what they did, but report what you want to YouTube. I didn't do anything, so you're gonna have a hard time proving what I did. So, are you cool Winnie Boxing? Oh, I love Winnie. Winnie's my boy. Winnie's my boy. So shout out to Winnie Boxing. Chill, relax. It's only boxing. Cheers, and see you for the next one. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And yeah, I love do a hat collab with Winnie. Yeah, well, I've asked him like 2 or 3 years ago, didn't do it. So it is what it is, isn't it? Not too keen on doing all these hangouts anymore. And I've done plenty of hangouts and collabs in the past years. You just go and look at the videos I've done hangouts. Now it's just about bringing you the news where I can, when I can. And yeah, I think what I might do now is actually change sports and talk. Is Stiverne calling you tomorrow? He's calling me tonight. He's going to call me whenever he's finished his meeting. So I'm going to stick around until about 4 or 5 in the morning and see if we can get the interview there. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. I'm going over to the gaming channel. I'm going to play some gaming for a few hours. Thank you for watching once again. Lots of love to you all. I'm out. Take care.